Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss something about the development economics. First of all, I'm grateful to Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center to give me the opportunity to share my view with you. Um, as you can see, this is we are going to discuss the development economics, and specifically, I'm going to discuss something about the capitalism. Okay? So, capitalist system, the immutable laws of the capitalist development, and the crisis of the capitalism. So, this. Uh, so, myself, Dr. Shruti Kona Ghosh, and let me start. Now, look, according to the Marx, the capitalism is based on the concept of the surplus value. There are so many factors which are used to produce the production, the final product, but other than labor, the factors cannot produce the surplus value. They are just transferring their value to the final product. But only the labor they can produce the surplus value. They can produce more than their wage rate. So this is called the surplus value. Now that surplus is actually uh, appropriated, is taken by the capitalist. They are accumulated the surplus value and consider it as a profit. And as they are accumulating the surplus value, their profit level is increasing in that sense. Now, what about the wage of the worker? As I said, laborer is producing more than their wage. Their wage is actually the subsidies at the subsistence level. That means the wage, which is the minimum, if the subsistence level of wage means this is the minimum wage which is given to them to survive. They are not getting anything more. So the subsistence wage is given to them, and now you can ask me the question that why the capitalists are producing subsistence wage? Why they are not giving them more than the subsistence wage? Because there is a lot of supply. There is excess supply of labor. According to Marx, this is called the reserve army of labor. Okay, so there is a lot of labor available in the market. So once they are paying the minimum wage, they can get labor. So there is no need for the capitalists to give more wage. At the minimum wage, they are getting the labor supply. So they are providing that subsistence wage to the labor force. By chance, in the short run, it may possible in the short run that the wage is increasing a bit more about the subsistence wage. But in the long run, it is stable at the subsistence wage. Now, the question is how that reserve army of labor prevails in the economy. The thing is, when the capitalists are entering in the industry, in the economy, they are just destroying the small scale labor intensive sectors. So that is how there is a lot of labor who are becoming unemployed. And by destroying the small scale sector, they are introducing the large scale capital intensive industries. So you can understand the people who are living, who are bound to leave that small scale sector, they are unemployed. And this is how in the economy a reserve army of labor is existing. Okay, and unemployment is there. So there are some concepts about the in the capitalism according to Marx. So, according to Marx, the total value of output is the constant capital, that is the cost for the constant capital, the cost for the variable capital. This is nothing but that subsistence wage, and the surplus value which is generated by the labor force. Now, what is the net output? Net output is the total value of output minus the expenditure for constant capital. This is called the net output Y. So, this is what the expenditure for the variable capital V and the surplus value S. So this is your net output. Okay. Now, what is the rate of exploitation? This is very common. This is very interesting part of the capitalism. What is the rate of degree of exploitation? The degree of exploitation is nothing but the rate of surplus value. So S divided by V. So V is the wage rate and S is the surplus value generated by the labor force. So once that ratio is increasing, so you can understand by giving a standard subsistence wage, you are getting more and more surplus value from the labor force. So this is the increase in the degree of exploitation in that sense. Now, what is the rate of profit? Rate of profit is by definition the ratio between the surplus value and the total expenditure for constant and the variable capital. Okay, so it is S divided by C plus V. Now, if you can write it, if you just divide the numerator and the denominator by V, then you can get this ratio. The S by V divided by 1 plus C by V. Now that S by V, you know already, this is the degree of exploitation or the rate of surplus value. So your numerator is the rate of surplus value and your denominator is the 1 plus C by V. That C by V is the expenditure for the constant capital divided by expenditure for the variable capital. So this is called the capital labor ratio. You can say this is the capital labor ratio. So your denominator has the capital labor ratio plus 1. Now, once you are getting more and more profit, the question is what to do. What the capitalists are doing with this profit? They are actually investing this profit for the to make the capital. They are just installing more capital in their industry by utilizing their profit. So in that case, that C is increasing. So if that C is increasing, that means your capital labor ratio is increasing, your denominator is increasing, so your ratio is falling. That means once you are investing your profit to accumulate more capital in your economy, your rate of profit is falling. So this is the important point of the capitalist system. Now, as I said, you can understand that you are making your own problem, right? You are the capitalist, say you are the capitalist, you are getting profit, you are investing your profit for the capital accumulation, and this ratio is falling, so your rate of profit is falling. Okay, so this is how you are making problem for yourself. And this is actually the reason behind the failure of the capitalism. Okay, now look at this slide. The capitalism fails. Actually, capitalism fail after some time. In the long run, it will fail according to Marx. What are the reason behind this? The first reason is the endogenous growth of the technology. You are just saying that you are accumulating C. You are just increasing C by investing your rate of profit. So this is something called the endogenous growth of your technology. So this is how your rate of profit is falling, and you are facing the problem. You are discouraged to do that. Okay, you are not interested to make this process again. Sometimes government intervene. Actually, what happens when the people has a lot of money, when the capitalists have a lot of money in their hands, so they are actually becoming the monopolist in the economy. But everything we are saying when there is no government, right? But sometimes it is seen in different countries. For example, in Britain, there were a lot of people who were monopolists just after the war, but then government intervened, and the government just uh, destroy that monopoly system. And once you are closing that monopoly system, the capitalism will stop. Okay, and the industrial concentration, this is also here also you need the outside intervention. So this is how your capitalism can fail. So the crisis of capitalism, I'm coming to the last part of the capitalists, that how the capitalists are facing the problem. What are the areas from where he may face the problem? The first one is that, as I said already, you are making your own problem because you are reducing your rate of profit. So this is the first thing. Your rate of profit is falling. What is the second part? Second part is under consumption. What is why there is under consumption? Because who are your consumer? Your consumer, you are the producer. The capitalist is actually the producer. He is producing for whom? He is producing for the consumer. Now, who is the consumer? The consumer is the labor force who are getting a continuous subsistence wage. So, as their wage is very low, they are not they are not having a lot of money to spend for their consumption. So that means the demand is very low in the market. So as the demand is low and you are supplying the commodity, so there is a case of excess supply. And once there is excess supply, the price of your commodity is falling and you are making loss. This is another part of the crisis. There is full employment. Once you are employing, so you initially you are improving your capital force, capital stock, but how to use your capital? You need labor, na? Otherwise you cannot get the full um, return of your capital. So you have to employ the labor. And in the long run, it may be like that you are employing labor to such an extent that there is no, no, there is no reserve army of labor. Okay, so that becomes the full employment of the labor force. And once there is full employment of the labor force, then the wage rate you must increase the wage rate. Otherwise, you will not get the labor. So the wage is increasing, your rate of profit is falling. Again, you are facing the problem. And as there is a problem of underconsumption, as there is a problem of the fall in rate of profit, so in the economy, the recession will come. And once you are facing the recession, they, you have to close your industry, you have to close your production unit. So these are the areas from where the capitalism is facing the problem. So, based on all this, there is a crisis theory. The crisis theory is actually trying to explain the, the problem or the closing of the capitalism, how the capitalism will end. So, according to the crisis theory, the surplus value is accumulated. As I said, the surplus value is generated by the labor force by giving the subsistence wage to that labor force. Extra production, whatever produced by the labor force as the surplus value, is accumulated by the capitalist. Now, they are converting that surplus value, that is their profit, in terms of the constant capital, that is C, that they are continuously investing their profit to increase the capital in the industry. So constant capital is increasing. And when that constant capital is increasing, that C by V, that is the capital labor ratio, that is increasing, and that will reduce your rate of profit. So, and in the long run, when your rate of profit is continuously falling, you are discouraged to produce. So this is how capitalist is the reason to destroy the capitalism. Okay, this is what Marx has said. So thank you, and I just want to say you that you must read this, you must listen this video again and again. You must read the material which I have provided to you, and I think that will be helpful for you for your further study. Thank you.